Om Namo Bhagavate Sudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kadameyam Dadati Sarpadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganavatunataन्वितं Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini Vaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschakta Deshatani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gauritsen He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaurabhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'll continue from verse number 23. So this is a section of Lord Shiva being cursed by Daksha Prajapati. So what is the curse Daksha has given to Lord Shiva? I think we have only two participants, yeah, three participants. Four, okay. So they are joining now. So who can tell what curse? What is the curse which Daksha Prajapati gave to Lord Shiva? No curse. Yes. The videos are off, devotees are just joining. It's already 2:40. I think we have to close our Bhakti Vaibhava course with the third canto itself. I think. Again, we can do fresh registration for the fourth canto, and we can have some policies, video on, um, permission of well in hand permission before you want to miss some class. I think we should do that. We should not compromise some standards. We should complete all the closed book exams, then presentations. Then only should I think we should start fourth canto. Or I feel somebody else can take the fourth canto. Somebody else can become permanent teacher and continue. Because we have very clear-cut policies that before we want to go for some picnic or we want to go for some condolence and something like that. Before one day, before only put it's not WhatsApp group you put something. You have to write a mail to primary teacher with the Vamshotam to communication proof that we are not able to attend like this. 124 hours before. It's not counselor meeting or something suddenly pops up somewhere. It's well planned. Vehicle is booked, everything is done, and suddenly people disappear. So I feel like most of your counselors and very serious, very tight schedule. I feel then we should first complete third three cantos, finish exam presentation, then continue the fourth canto. What all of you feel? Most of your sloka test and close exams are also pending. I'm seeing it's like most of them are in red. Mhm. Otherwise, it's like so I've been seeing so many teachers they I invite, but hardly five people are there, six people are there. And somebody comes, just read something and they log off, log out. What is the point? You want to read Bhagavatam or you want to get some Bhakti Vaibhava course certificate? It's very tough to understand. Anyways, those whom were supposed to hear, they're not here. And all sincere souls who are attending regularly are here. So all of you are hearing. But again, and for all of you, then others also who are not so well, not fitting the standard, they also get the mercy. That is only concern. Because if this canto is closed, then who are sincerely attending, they get probably we are attending. What is our concern? We are attending. We are hearing. We are writing exams. But then those for some sincere 2, 3, but then the maximum they just come, go, come, go, come, go. So, anyways, what is the curse, Daksh Prajapati? What curse did Lord Shiva get from Daksh Prajapati? Yes, Bajahari Prabhu, you are hearing or not hearing now? Sound आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है आपको? कि आपसे घूमते रह रहे हो? अभी कहाँ कुंभ के मेले में नहीं गए ना? Hope you are in Pune only.
Volume is very low, so I put mobile near my ear.
Oh, ear. You can use earphone, na Prabhu?
I don't have earphone, Prabhuji.
Okay, you need to book it from Amazon. It will come
Okay.
to this.
Okay.
Others also not able to hear the volume. It's so low.
It's fine, Manoj. Volume is quite good.
I think Prabhuji, you can check whether it's like when as soon as we become old, na, sometimes hearing quality also goes low.
That is also true, Prabhuji. My mobile is very old.
So
That
then,
will pause.
yes,
That low volume is coming. I'm your क्या बोलते हैं, low volume is I'm hearing. So I'm putting my mobile near my ear. I will try to buy one that headphone tomorrow, Prabhuji.
what is comfortable for you? Yes, Parmeshwari Mataji, what is the concern? Your video is off. Now, because other teachers are not primary teachers, I am primary teacher, I am accountable to our deans. Otherwise, there's only full-fledged English Bhakti Vaibhava going on. Correct. So, what is the curse?
Lord Shiva got the curse from Daksha that he will not receive the offering from Vidya like other demigods.
Okay, yes. And what Prabhupada writes about it? Good, Prabhu, Suryakant Krishna. So, what Prabhupada comments on it? Is it a curse or what it is? Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhupada, actually, Prabhupada is writing that Lord Shiva was saved from the calamity of taking part with other demigods who were all materialistic.
Yes.
And actually, it was a boon for Shiva then.
Lord Shiva. Because he's a Vaishnava, he doesn't eat anything apart from prasad. And most
Yes.
of the yajnas, they are meant for Lord Vishnu, but also he cannot sit with other demigods or not devotees. Good. Yeah. It's very simple, that's it. So this is the curse which Lord Shiva got, but that was a boon. And then Nandi started cursing Daksha and all the Bhrugu Brahmanas, and now Brahmanas are going to curse. Yes. So Nandi cursed Daksha. Now Nandi is going to curse Brahmana also. Yes, 3 curses of Daksha is done. Now he's going to curse Brahmanas. We saw this pretentiously released on. I think we have finished this. 23rd, we have to go. Budya parividyayinya Vishmurtatma gati pashu Stri kamasostvav atitaram Daksho vashta mupochirat. Yes. Yes, Mataji, you can start reading. Sachin Verma, you can read 5 verses, then we'll ask next in
Okay,
time.
Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhupada. Daksha has accepted the body as all in all. Therefore, since he was forgotten, the Vishnupada or Vishnu Gati and is attached to sex life only, within a short time he will have the face of a goat.
So anyway, this is this translation. Next one. Vidya buddhira vidyayam paramamayam asojata samsarantav iha ye chamu anusarva avamaninam. Yes.
Those who have become as dull as matter by cultivating materialistic education and intelligence are nascently involved in fruitive activities. Such men have purposely insulted Lord Shiva. May they continue in the cycle of repeated birth and death.
Mm. The Prabhupada is mentioning these three curses are suitable for him because it takes ignorance in the form of karma. Okay, purport. Can read the purport of these three curses mentioned above.
Okay. The three curses mentioned above are sufficient to make one as dull as stone, void of spiritual knowledge, and preoccupied with materialistic education, which is nescience. After uttering these curses, Nandishwara then cursed the Brahmanas to continue in the cycle of birth and death because of their supporting Daksha in blaspheming Lord Shiva.
Hmm. Brahmanas. So now Daksha's curse is over. Now Brahma is going to get cursed next. गिरश्रुतया पुष्पिण्या मधुगन्धेन धुरीना मत्ना चोन्मत्तितात्मना सम्मूयन्तो हरद्विषा.
May those who are envious of Lord Shiva, being attracted by the flowery language of the enchanting Vedic promises, and who have thus become dull, always remain attached to fruitive activities.
Basically, by the purpose of Vedya should be for fruitive activities. Nowadays, if you see carefully, Brahmanas, they are not at all interested in Vishnu Bhakti. The Kuldevas want to be Lord Krishna, Vishnu, but their only goal will be fruitive activities, karma kanda. Yes. Purport.
The Vedic promises of elevation to higher planets for a better standard of materialistic life are compared to flowery language because in a flower there is constantly an aroma, but that aroma does not last for a very long time. In a flower there is honey, but that honey is not eternal.
Yeah, the last week I was speaking about that it is not Chakravarti Paths, but it is Prabhupada's commentary. What is called as flowery Pushpita Vacham Pushpa. As it is a nectar in it, honeybees, they go shahad, they form this honey. But that honey is also not eternal, it gets after some, it's temporary. And even the fragrance is also temporary. So therefore, people who go for karma kanda, it's very flowery, but once they go there, Shrine Punya Martalokam Vishanti. So the type of anticipation there and the type of enjoyment is there, both are temporary. It's real, but it's temporary, not eternal. This is what Prabhupada mentions here. Flowery meaning of flower, fragrance, aroma is also temporary, and even the honey is also temporary. Sarvabhaksha Dvija Vritya Vrita Vidya Tapovrita Vittadehendriya Rama Yachaka Vicharantiva.
These Brahmanas take to education, austerity, and vows only for the purpose of maintaining the body. They shall be devoid of discrimination between what to eat and what not to eat. They will acquire money begging from door to door simply for the satisfaction of the body.
So education, austerity, and was only for the purpose of maintaining the body. Basically, the purpose of Veda is satisfying Lord Vishnu. But instead of satisfying Lord Vishnu, the Vedic, they take to the Vedic study only for maintaining their body. So there will be divide of discrimination between what to eat, what not to eat. Basically, like Lord Buddha came, the purpose of Ashwamedha, Govamedha in Kali Yuga, that is banned because people were getting addicted to meat eating. That's the reason Buddha had to incarnate to make them stop eating meat. That was the purpose. They'll acquire money begging from door to door simply for satisfaction of the body. Brahma is supposed to give dana of knowledge, and in the return, if you get something, that's fine. But because they themselves are not having any knowledge, so they will end up only begging and doing some sacrifices for some money. That is what has happened nowadays. Okay, 26th. Yeah, this is what. Yeah, this is a big purple. Yes, Manoj, you can read this. Third curse.
Yes. The third curse inflicted by Nandishvara on the Brahmanas who supported Daksha is completely functioning in the age of Kali. The so called Brahmanas are no longer interested in understanding the nature of the Supreme Brahman, although a Brahmana means one who has attained knowledge about Brahman. In the Vedanta Sutra also it is stated Athato Brahma Jignasa. This human form of life is meant for realization of the Supreme Brahman, the absolute truth, or in other words, human life is meant for one's elevation to the post of a Brahmana. Unfortunately, the modern Brahmanas or so called Brahmanas uh, Brahma, who come in originally Brahminical families have left their own occupational duties, but they do not allow others to occupy the posts of Brahmanas. The qualifications for Brahmanas are described in the scriptures, in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all other Vedic literatures. Brahmana is not a hereditary title or position. If someone from a non Brahman family, for example, one born in a family of Shudras, tries to become a Brahmana by being properly qualified under the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, these so called Brahmanas will object. Such Brahmanas, having been cursed by Nandishvara, are actually in a position where they have no discrimination between eatables and non eatables and simply live to maintain the perishable material body and its family. Such fallen conditioned souls are not worthy to be called Brahmanas, but in Kali Yuga they claim to be Brahmanas. And if a person actually tries to attain the Brahminical qualifications, they try to hinder his progress. This is the situation in the present age. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu condemned this principle very strongly. During his conversation with Ramananda Rai, he said that regardless of whether a person is born in a Brahmin family or Shudra family, regardless of whether he is a householder or a sannyasi, if he knows the science of Krishna, he must be a spiritual master. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had many so-called Shudra disciples like Haridas Thakur and Ramananda Rai. Even the Goswamis, who were principal students of Lord Chaitanya, were also os- ostrac- ostracized from Brahman society, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his grace, made them first class Vaishnavas.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna.
So this basically is speaking about the curse which they have got. Basically, caste Goswami, the caste Brahmanas, they will have no discrimination. The third curse, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's not based on birth, but it's based on guna and karma. तस्यावं वतता शापं श्रुत्वा द्विजकुलाय वै भृगु प्रत्याशचा चापं ब्रह्मदण्डं दुरत्ययाम्. Yes, I think yours 5 slokas are done, but the last remaining.
Last, Prabhuji.
Okay, please read.
When all the hereditary Brahmanas were thus cursed by Nandishwar, the sage Bhrigu, as a reaction, condemned the followers of Lord Shiva with this very strong Brahmanical curse.
So now, Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva, who's the head of a Brahmana, is going to curse back the followers of Lord Shiva. Basically, there are two people. Brahmanas are generally supposed to be Vishnu Bhaktas, and Shaivites, they are the followers of Lord Shiva. So it's this difference of opinion between them has been since time immemorial. And that means now it is happening means that was before this incident also that was prevalent. In Kali Yuga also is very much prevalent. And whatever curses they have casted, we can see exactly those principles you can see from Brahmanas, you can see from the followers of Shiva. So now what curses Bhrigu Rishi is going to give for all the followers of Shiva. You can see exactly what is happening nowadays in Kali Yuga. Yes. Can you read the purport, Mataji? The word Duruktiya.
Yes, Prabhu. The word Duratyaya is particularly used in reference to a Brahmanda or or curse by a Brahmana. A
Brahma
curse,
Danda. It's
sorry,
Brahman.
Brahmananda.
Brahma Danda.
Brahmadanda. Sorry, Guru.
Yes. Brahma
Ah,
Danda. It's the curse
in
of a Brahman.
reference to a Brahmadanda or curse by a Brahmana.
Yes.
A curse by a Brahmana is very strong, therefore it is called Duratyaya or insurmountable. As the Lord states in Bhagavad Gita, the stringent laws of nature are insurmountable. Similarly, if a curse is uttered by a Brahmana, that curse is also insurmountable. But Bhagavad Gita also says that the curse or benedictions of the material world are, after all, material creations. The Chaitanya Charitamrita confirms that that which is accepted in this material world to be a benediction and that which is taken to be a curse are both on the same platform because they are material. To get out of this material contamination, one should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as recommended in Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. The best path is to transcend all material curses and benedictions and take shelter of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and remain in a transcendental position. Persons who have taken shelter of Krishna are always peaceful. They are never cursed by anyone, nor do they attempt to curse anyone. That is a transcendental position. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So here I think Prabhupada mentions that even benefits, that is also temporary. Even curses, that is also temporary. That is what Prabhupada writing. No? Bhagavad also says that curses at the benediction of the material world are, after all, material creations, highlighted in yellow. And Chaitanya Charitamrita confirms that that which is accepted in this material world to be a benediction, that which is taken to be a curse are both on the same platform because they are material. What is the meaning of both same platform? Even if some people say, na, for our family that has been generational curse, or because of this is not happening, we are so poor, or this is not happening, the marriage is not fiction, or everything is topsy-turvy. Thing is, a curse are a boon. People say we have been blessed by our so and so great Swamiji coming in early years. That blessing also, if it is not connected to Krishna, that is also temporary. The curse is also temporary. So the curse by Brahman is very strong, therefore it is called Duratya. But if one takes shelter of Krishna, which is eternal, because he is Satya, Param Satya, even the curses which are there, they are also material platform only. And one can, it may take many, many lifetimes, but one can practice bhakti and one can transcend. Pastime comes in the 9th canto of Bhagavatam. I'm just forgetting the name of that. He was a prince, and he was sent to the Goshala ashram of Vashishta Muni. I'm not exactly remembering the prince's name, but and Vashishta Muni had given the charge of the cows to this prince who was serving there as a brahmachari, because that was his training. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasantanto Gurohitam. And after that, he's supposed to go back and rule the kingdom. And Vasishtha Muni was training this person who was from administrative class. And somehow there was a lot of rains at night. And this personality with the knife in his hand was protecting all the cows. But suddenly there was like a lot of wind, gust. Because of that, all the lamps, the fire, woods which were there burning, everything went off. It was pitch dark. And then there was a loud roar of tiger. And because there was no light, it was completely pitch dark. Hearing the roar of tiger, this person was guarding it. He took his sword and he threw the sword on that side. So, and immediately the roar of the lion, tiger was there. It was like shouting very loudly and it ran away. And this person who was guarding the Goshala just slept off. And next day morning he got up. And when he saw in the morning, when sun rose, he saw that the sword had cut the ear of the tiger. The tiger's ear was cut and was lying there. And after that, because it was the ear of the tiger, the sword went and cut the cow, the neck of the cow, and the cow was slaughtered. And then Vasishtha Muni got to know in the morning, and he uttered a curse. Because you are supposed to protect the cows, you have killed the cow. Because of this, you are eternally going to go to hell. But then this personality was there. He was very principled and he was a devotee of Lord. That time he understood that I'm not going to go and become a king now. I am going to continue as a celibate brahmachari and I'm going to do bhakti. And I'll enter forest. And then he became brahmachari and entered into the forest. And by that bhakti, that Vasishtha's curse was there, he translated that curse and he went back to the. So this comes in 9th canto of Bhagavatam. Try to see if I could. I'll try to tell you tomorrow what is the name of that exact personality. But very inspiring. There Prabhupada writes. So the curses and even the bones, both are, you say, I'll try to tell you tomorrow morning the name of the exact person. So here the Prabhupada is writing, right? Bones and curses. Bhagavata says that curses are benedictions. The material world are, after all, material creation. So therefore, curse will not go eternally. It is also material. But if somebody can take shelter of the Lord, best path is to transcend all material curses and benedictions and take shelter of the Supreme Lord Krishna and remain in transcendental position. The example for that is that personality from 9th canto was cursed by Vasishtha Muni, but then he practiced bhakti and he went back to God. So bhakti is very, very powerful. That is what Prabhupada is trying to write here. Bhavavrata dhara yecha tan saman vrataha pashandina asti bhavantu sachastra paripantina. Okay. Next. Yes.
One who takes a vow to satisfy Lord Shiva or who follows such principles will certainly become an atheist and be diverted from transcendental scriptural injunctions.
Yes, one who takes a vow to satisfy Lord Shiva or one who follows such principles. Basically, now Brahmanas are cursing the Shaivites are the followers of Lord Shiva. Suddenly become an atheist and be diverted from transcendental scriptural injunction. What is scriptural injunction? To practice bhakti, to purify heart and go back to water. But they'll be engaged in atheistic conclusions. Prabhupada writes, what is that? Yes, Mataji, please read. Sometimes we see that.
Sometimes it is necessary, sometimes it is seen that devotees of Lord Shiva imitate the characteristics of Lord Shiva. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison. So some of the followers of Lord Shiva imitate him and try to take intoxicants like ganja, marijuana. Here the curse is that if someone follows such principle, he must become an infidel and turn against the principles of Vedic regulation. It is said that such devotees of Lord Shiva will be such Shastra Paripanthina, which means opposed to the conclusion of Shastra or scripture. This is confirmed in the Padma Purana also. Lord Shiva was ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to preach the impersonal or Mayavad philosophy for a particular purpose, just as Lord Buddha preached the philosophy of wideness for a particular purpose mentioned in the Shastras. Sometimes it is necessary to preach a philosophical doctrine such which is against the Vedic conclusion. In the Shiva Puran, it is stated that Lord Shiva said to Parvati that in the Kali Yuga, in the body of Brahmana, he would preach the Mayavad philosophy. Thus, it is generally found that the worshippers of Lord Shiva are Mayavad followers. Lord Shiva himself says, Mayavadam Asach Shastram. Asat Shastra, as explained here, means the doctrine of Mayavad impersonalism or becoming one with the Supreme. Bhrigu Muni cursed that persons who worship Lord Shiva would become followers of this Mayavad Asarta Shastra, which attempts to establish that the Supreme Personality body is impersonal. Besides that, among the worshippers of Lord Shiva, there is a section who live a devilish life. Srimad Bhagavatam and Narad Pancharatra are authorized scriptures that are considered such shastra or scriptures which lead one to the path of God realization. Asat Shastra is just the opposite.
Is main care atheistic. Mayavadi is atheistic will go to hell. Mayavadi will go much more or less than that. That's what Prabhupada writes in the Shubhishad. Enad ahur vidya, enad ahur avidya. People, culture, ignorance, they will go darker. But even worse are those who culture so-called knowledge, which is nothing but Veda Vadarata or Mayavadi philosophy. That is the first curse which is being hurled by Pruhu. Nasta Saucha Mudodiyo Jata Bhashma Astidharina Vishantu Shiva Dikshayam Yatra Daivam Surasavam.
Those who worship Lord Shiva are so foolish that they imitate him by keeping long hair on their heads. When initiated into worship of Lord Shiva, they prefer to live on wine, flesh, and other such things. Or for indulging in wine and meat, keeping long hair on one's head, not bathing daily, and smoking ganja, marijuana are some of the habits which are accepted by foolish creatures who do not have regulated lives. By such behavior, one becomes devoid of transcendental knowledge. In the initiation into the Shiva mantra, there are Mudrikashtaka, in which it is sometimes recommended that one make his sitting place on the Virgina and thus desire nirvana or dissolution of existence. In that process of worship, wine is needed, or sometimes in place of wine, palm tree juice, which is converted into an intoxicant. This is also offered according to Shiva Agama, a scripture on the method of worshipping Lord.
Second curse, which is completely against the basic, this is how followers of Shiva will behave. Brahmacha Brahmanam Shaivam Yadyuyam Parinindata Setum Vidaranam Pumsam Ata Pashannamashrita. Yes, Guru will continue.
Bhrigu Muni continued, since you blaspheme the Vedas and the Brahmanas, who are followers of Vedic principles, it is understood that leader of doctrine of atheism. Bhrigu Muni, in cursing Nandishwar, that not only would they be degraded as atheists because of this curse, but they had already fallen to the standard of atheism because they had blasphemed the Vedas, which are the source of human civilization. Human civilization is based on the qualitative divisions of social order, namely the intelligent class, the martial class, the productive class, and the liberal class. The Vedas provide the right direction for advancing spiritual cultivation and economic development and regulating the principles of sense gratification, so that ultimately one may be liberated from material contamination to his real state of spiritual identification. Aham Brahmasmi. As long as one is in the contamination of material existence, one changes bodies from the aquatics to the position of Brahma. But the human form of life is the highest perfectional life in the material world. The Vedas give directions by which to elevate oneself to the next life. The Vedas are the mother of such instructions, and the Brahmanas or persons who are in the knowledge of the Vedas are the father. Thus, if one blasphemes the Vedas and Brahmanas, naturally one goes down to the states of atheism. The exact word used in Sanskrit is Nastik, which refers to one who does not believe in the Vedas but manufactures some concocted systems of religion. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that the followers of Buddhist system of religion are Nastikas. In order to establish his doctrine of non-violence, Lord Buddha flatly refused to believe in the Vedas, and thus later on Shankaracharya stopped this system of religion in India and forced it to go outside India. Here it is stated, Brahma cha Brahmana. Brahma means the Vedas. Aham Brahmasmi means I am in the full knowledge. The Vedic assertion is that one should think that he is Brahman, and for actually he is Brahman. If Brahma or the Vedic spiritual science is contained and the masters of the spiritual science, the Brahmana, are condemned, then where does human civilization stand? Bhrigu Muni said, it is not due to my cursing that you shall become atheist. You are already situated in the principles of atheism. Therefore, you are condemned.
Bhrigu Muni doesn't have to curse them, but they themselves, by condemning Vedas and Vedic followers, they themselves are stepping into atheism. Esha eva hi lokanam Shiva Panta Sanatana Yam Purve Chanusantastur Yat Pramanam Janardana Yat Pramanam Janardana. Now Janardanakam Yat Pramanam. The purpose of Vedas and the Pramana is Janardana. This is what now Bhrigu Muni is telling. Now hearing this, Lord Shiva says, Baba, now if Bhrigu Muni has put Pramana as Lord Vishnu, now Nandishwar is going to refute it. Then that means he has to refute or blaspheme Lord Vishnu. So now, after this shloka, Lord Shiva leaves along with his associates so that it ends. Yes. So now Prabhupada writes a big purport telling that Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Person Godhead, Krishna has claimed that Am Bija Prajapataha, the 84 lakh species, and that he is a father of all, and living in his part and parcel of Supreme Person of Godhead for all things. And they are trying to hold on the material platform, and they are inclined the cycle of birth and death. And the only guidance for them is Vedas. So Vedas, Shruti, they are apaurushya because they are not written by any man, demigod, not even Brahma, but it is given by Lord Krishna himself. So Vedas are apaurushya. They are coming from Lord Vishnu himself. So Prabhupada focuses or elaborates more on that. The Vedas were not written by any living entity. Therefore, it's called the Paurusha. Something written by living entity is Paurusha. But Vedas, especially Shruti mantras, they are not written by any dependent person. They are given by Lord Himself. That is what Prabhupada is trying to mention here. So, what is the history? Nobody can trace the history. That Prabhupada comes that Shankaracharya, Ramanacharya, Madhvacharya accepted Krishna and Narayana as a transcendental. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna himself says that he is the source of everything. And he is the purpose to be known from the Vedas. The purpose of Veda study is to know Vedantikrit, Vedavid, Vedajaha. So that is the purpose of Lord Krishna. Lord Vishnu himself is a compiler, not Brahma is a compiler of Vedas. In the beginning of Bhagavatam, Krishna himself says that Tene Brahma Raja, he gave the knowledge, Vedic knowledge to Brahmaji. And somebody who has 4 defects, he cannot get actual knowledge. Committing mistake, illusion, cheating, propensity, imperfect senses. So Janardana has thus been followed from time immemorial, beginning from Brahma. This is what Prabhupada brings here. So now Mataji can read from here. The Vedic religion and the principle of Vedas have been followed.
The Vedic religion or the principles of the Vedas have been followed by a highly cultured population of India since time immemorial. No one can trace out the history of Vedic religion. Therefore, it is Sanatan. And any blasphemy against the Vedas is calculated to be atheism. The Vedas are described as Setu, which means a bridge. If one wants to attain his spiritual existence, one has to cross an ocean of nescience. The Vedas are the bridge by which to cross such a great ocean. The Vedas describe how to divide to quality. The Vedas describe how to divide the human race into 4 divisions according to quality and working capacity. This is very scientific system and it is also Sanatan. For no one can trace out its history and it has no dissolution. No one can stop the system of Varna and Ashrama or the caste and divisions. For example, whether or not one accepts the name Brahmana, there is a class in a society which is known as the intelligent class and which is interested in the spiritual understanding and philosophy. Similarly, there is a class of men who are interested in administration and in ruling others. In other Vedic system, these are martially spirited men are called Kshatriyas. Similarly, everywhere there is a class of men who are interested in the economic development, business, industry, and money making. They are called Vaishyas. And there is another class who are neither intelligent nor martially spirited or endowed with the capacity of economic development, but who simply can serve others. They are called Shudras or laborer class. This system in Sanatan, it comes from time immemorial and it will continue in the same way. There is no power in the world that which can stop it. Therefore, since this Sanatan Dharma system is eternal, one can elevate himself to the highest standard of spiritual life by following Vedic principles. It is stated that formerly the sages followed this system. Therefore, to follow the Vedic system is to follow the standard etiquette of society. But the followers of Lord Shiva, who are drunkards, who are addicted to intoxicants and sex life, who do not bathe and smoke ganja, who are against all human etiquettes. The conclusion is that persons who rebel against the Vedic principles are themselves the evidences of that the Vedas are authoritative because they are not following the Vedic principles, they become like animals. Such animalistic persons are themselves evidence of the supremacy of the Vedic regulations.
Was filling here. This is how what is exhibited by the followers of Lord Shiva right now. This shows that they don't follow Vedas, they become like animals. This shows that Vedic regulations will make a person refined. So those who rebel will become like animals. It's not that we have to prove them. Just by their culture, just by their character, just by their practice, that संस्कृति से हमें पता चल जाएगा कि नास्तिक तद्ब्रह्म परमं शुद्धं सतां वर्त्मा सनातनं विगर्यायात पाषण्डं दैवो वो यत्र भूतरात्. Yes.
By, by blaspheming the principles of Vedas, which are the pure and supreme path of the saintly persons, certainly you followers of Bhutapati, Lord Shiva, will descend to the standard of atheism without doubt.
Blaspheming the principles of Vedas, which are pure and supreme path of saintly persons. Bhutapati, followers of Bhutapati, that Shaivites will descend to the stand of atheism without a doubt. So again, Prabhupada continues the purport. Yes.
Lord Shiva is described here as Bhutarata, the ghost, and those who are situated in the material mode of ignorance are called Bhutas or Bhutarad. Refers to the leaders of the creatures who are in the lowest standard of the material modes of nature. Another meaning of Bhuta is anyone who has taken birth or anything which is produced. So, in that sense, Lord Shiva may be accepted as the father of this material world. Here, of course, Bhrigu Muni takes Lord Shiva as the leader of the lowest creatures. The characteristics of the lowest class of men have already been described. They do not bathe, they have long hairs on their heads, and they are addicted to intoxicants. In comparison with the path followed by the followers of Bhutarat, the Vedic system is certainly excellent for it promotes people to spiritual life as the highest eternal principle of human civilization. If one descries or blasphemes the Vedic principles, then he falls to the standard of atheism.
Yeah. So what the Shiva does is, people who are not very cultured, people who are ghostly, people who are in ignorance, he tries to bring them slowly, slowly, slowly. He brings them in Vedic paradigm by giving them rules and regulations according to nature. They can accept 5 yams, mass, madira, meat, that is meat, partial rice, maitun. So 5 things are there which are allowed for the people ignorance. But if you just tell them, oh, no meditating, no illicit sex, no drugs, no gambling, they're like animalistic. They not follow anything. But what is done is, okay, you follow something. Just don't do anything. Just don't become like without rules and regulations. You follow something. Therefore, for ignorant people, that is the rules and regulations. For passion, little bit more rules and regulations. For goodness, much more, because their consciousness is elevated. Therefore, Shiva is called is here as the leader of the fallen. But it is mercy that he's trying to go to them and trying to elevate them. It's like Prabhupada going to West and trying to elevate the hippies. So Prabhupada could not directly tell them that you should leave aside, you should leave aside. You're already girl and man and woman together. Better you get married and stay together. Type of rules and regulations we have in the Vedic tradition. You can't expect it from the Western tradition. So that kind of adjustments has to be made in the beginning to increase the level of the consciousness, and slowly refine and bring them. That is what Prabhupada did. Therefore, it's called an Acharya. Vaishnavana Metasham is very merciful. Similarly, Prabhupada, following his footsteps, he was like a representative of Lord Nityananda to give bhakti to all the his Maitri Vacha Tasyavam Vadata Shapam Bhuvoso Bhagavan Bhava Nischakram Tata Kinchit Vimana Eva Sanuga. So now Shiva disappears from that place. Yes, go read.
The sage Maitreya said, when such cursing and counter cursing was going on between Lord Shiva's followers and the parties of Daksha and Bhrigu, Lord Shiva became very morose. Not saying anything, he left the arena of the sacrifice, followed by his disciples.
Why became morose? So Janardana's name came. The Vedas went for pleasing Janardana. So now Nandi may start cursing Janardana. Therefore, he was thinking, oh, I don't want I am cursed. They are cursing each other, fine. But the object of the Vedic civilization, object of the Vedas, Lord Vishnu should not be cursed. Therefore, blasphemes. Therefore, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes here, hearing that Janardana is subject of inquiry, worrying that Nandishwar of anger would speak badly about Janardana and his devotees, Shiva then left. He appeared to be morose because he is self-satisfied, was not actually morose. The meaning of this incident is that the intelligent person should take shelter of the Vaishnavas and give up the Shaivites and those following the path of karma, engaging in cursing such as Nandishwar and Bhrigu. Because place was filled with people who are karmis and Shaivites. Therefore, Nandishwar just left that place, telling that there's something much higher I can do. Let me go and chant my round. Let me do something. They're counting, cursing, counter cursing, and it's like completely very dull atmosphere as we had been created. Therefore, he is already self-satisfied, but setting a standard for us that rather than trying to be in such an association, better we give up that association and go and do something much better. Yes, so please read the purport.
Here, Lord Shiva's excellent character is described. In spite of the cursing and counter cursing between the parties of Daksha and Shiva, because he is the greatest Vaishnava, he was so sober that he did not say anything. A Vaishnava is always tolerant, and Lord Shiva is considered the topmost Vaishnava. So his character, as shown in this scene, is excellent. He became morose because he knew that these people, both his men and Dakshas, were unnecessarily cursing and counter cursing one another without any interest in spiritual life.
That is important. Without any interest in spiritual life. So, if we have any interest in spiritual life, we will not get into that zone. Yes, bro, please read.
From his point of view, he did not see anyone as being lower or higher because he is a Vaishnava. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Panditaha Samadarshina. One who is perfectly learned does not see anyone as lesser or greater because he sees everyone from the spiritual platform. Thus, the only alternative left to Lord Shiva was to leave in order to stop his followers, Nandishwara, as well as Bhrigu Muni, from cursing and counter cursing in that way.
He was just seeing everyone equal, but they themselves are generating themselves the lower platforms. Better Lord Shiva thought, let me leave this place, seeing that equal vision. तेऽपि विश्वशजा शत्रं सहस्र परिवत्सरान् संविधाय महेश्वास यत्रेज्यार्षभो हरि.
O Vidura, the creators of the universe, after performing sacrifice for 1,000 years in which the Supreme Lord was the best of those worthy of worship, and taking their Avabharatha bath off at the confluence of the Ganga and the Yamuna, with purified minds departed for their respective abodes.
If you read this one, that was the pass. Yes, Surikant Vishnu, you have some question.
Yeah, Prabhuji, so in this we are practicing Vaishnava. So in the material world, if anyone blasphemes on the material platform, what should be our reaction in that case?
Whether we should stop or give the answers.
So if somebody is blaspheming whom?
Us, individual, us.
Okay.
In the
And
spiritual
somebody-
context.
Yeah. So there are many levels in it. If Vaishnava and somebody is trying to blaspheme us, there are two things for you.
Mhm.
One is legal, another is spiritual.
Yeah.
We are living in the society. So that is like manhani. So legally, you are the proofs you can file a case and put it in there. And if you see from a spiritual point of view, somebody is there like that, okay, you are in some, you are involved in some spiritual thing and some devotee is coming and trying to, it happens so many times. It's material thing, another thing is spiritual thing. Sometimes materially there might be some money, there might be land, and because of those things, people try to do all these things, turning a person's character. So legally, we can fight there. There's no question of adjusting.
Okay.
When it comes to spiritually, where no money is involved, where no possessions are involved, people are trying to serve, but sometimes when person's needs are not interested, like Chitriketu Maharaj, he had so many queens, and he chose Prithaduti only to produce a child. And remaining queens, they became envious and tried to poison. It's not that the queens were not, they were all devotees, they were all practitioners. But the type of love and care, affection that Chitriketu was showing to them before and after the child, that was from his side, he missed it. That triggered to that issue. So when somebody is trying to not deal with us nicely, not try to, okay, we think that, okay, what is meaning of blasphemy? Blasphemy means a person has all the good qualities, but a person avoids the good qualities and try to focus on the bad and try to spread it like anything. So if we are being blasphemed, like if I'm being blasphemed like that, first step is that, yes, is there a truth in that? Yes. So how much, what is that truth? Truth is there, it cannot be blasphemy. Then you have to sit and you discuss. If there's no truth in that, it can go to the direction of blasphemy. If there is not truth, then it's going to blasphemy. But what is that is triggering to this blasphemy? What is that has happened from my side because this person is becoming so envious and is trying to do this? That has to be addressed. So these two aspects we can take care. And even if after this you understood, okay, because see, this is world and people are emotional. People need attention and care. Basically, when we are serving in society, devotee community, people do it when credit is not, when all service is done, but credit is taken by some person. Or they feel like that because of communication gap. There can be many things. So first thing is that, and generally, who is doing this blasphemy? Is blasphemy being done by person inside the community itself? Outside society, person cannot do blasphemy because they're not doing anything spiritual. Understand, na? It comes
Yeah.
to completely other thing. But devotee is doing it, then you have to sit and discuss with that. If he is in your counseling group, or if he is in some other counseling group, and you should discuss with that leader who's guiding him, and try to bring out what is that situation, and some communication and some discussion and some, what say, troubleshooting, so that what is a misunderstanding that has to be resolved.
Okay.
Yeah, because how it is sometimes because of some miscommunication, people assume many things. What happens generally, what it is, whenever we work in a corporate circle,
Mhm.
code that don't take anything personally. In a meeting happen, something happen. Okay, you give a suggestion, but somebody doesn't accept suggestion, don't take it so personally. Second thing is, don't assume things. And most important first thing is be impeccable with your words. Integrity. That means jo bola, stick with that. The last is okay, after doing all these things, do your best. But most of the time, what happens is because of miscommunication, people assume, people take very personally, and problems start. See, it's not outside, it's inside. Person start assuming and taking things personally out of the box. Then he thinks that how much good we want to do to him. He will think he is my enemy. So who is very close to that person? You have to go discuss and try to help him out. After doing everything, nothing is working. Just just
Yeah.
convey it to your equals, your seniors. This is what is being happening, and I'm not really involved in this. I don't know how much reality is in this. If you can't help that person who is blaspheming, at least go to your superiors, your equals, the hierarchy, and inform this thing. At least they should be knowing it. Otherwise, if
Mhm.
this goes to them before you, then again they'll come and you will feel that this person also doing it, and they'll also come and asking, "Prove what happened."
Yes, Prabhu.
These are some of my thoughts in this direction.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
So the last look of this, Jagannath going to please read. The Maitri continued. Oh Vidura. Yes.
O Vidura, the creators of the universe, after performing sacrifice for 1,000 years in which the Supreme Lord was the best of those worthy of worship, and taking their uh, I had to read upper side, the sage Maitreya.
Ping. Down is the Chakravarti class. This is
Oh,
Prabhupada's.
sorry. Yeah. The sage Maitreya continued, O Vidura, all the progenitors of the universal population thus executed a sacrifice for thousands of years, for sacrifice is the best way to worship the Supreme Lord, Hari, the personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So basically, Daksha went, Lord Shiva went, Brahma was there, and all the Brahmanas did the tapasya because that was meant for performing for pleasure of Lord Hari. So Prabhupada brings an amazing purport from this. He speaks of demigod worship and Vishnu worship. Oh, Lord Vishnu is the goal of everything. I think we'll speak in this and next verse. Please read the purport. I think mostly
It
next.
is
Yeah, please read this. Yeah.
it is clearly stated here that the stalwart personalities who generate the entire population of the world are interested in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering sacrifices. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam. One may engage in performing sacrifices and severe austerities for perfection, but they are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. If such activities are performed for personal satisfaction, one is involved in Pashanda, or atheism. But when they are performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, one is following the Vedic principle. All the assembled sages performed sacrifices for 1000 years.
Vishnu, the purpose of our goal of sacrifice, Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Vishnu's it was meant for his pleasure. Sacrifice went, serious went with that sacrifice. आप्लुत्या ववापृतं यत्र गङ्गा यमुना यन्वितः विराजेनात्मना सर्वे स्वं स्वं धाम ययस्ततः. Yes.
My dear Vidura, carriers of bows and arrows, all the demigods who were performing the sacrifice, um, took their bath at the confluence of the Ganges and the Yamuna. After completing the yajna performance, such a bath is called a Bharata Snana. After thus becoming purified in heart, they departed for their respective abodes. Perfect. Lord Shiva previously Daksha left the arena of sacrifice. The sacrifice was not stopped. The sages went on for many years in order to satisfy the Supreme Lord. The sacrifice was not destroyed for want of Shiva and Daksha, and the sages went on with their activities. In other words, it may be assumed that if one does not worship the demigods, even up to Lord Shiva and Brahma, one can nevertheless satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Kama eshi ter
कामस्तेऽर्थे नित्यज्ञाना प्रपद्यन्ते अन्यदेवता. 7.20. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Persons who are impelled by lust and desire go to the demigods to derive some material benefits. In this commentary on this Bhagavad Gita verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur uses the very specific word Nashta Buddha, meaning persons who have lost their sense of intelligence. Only such persons care for demigods and want to derive material benefit from them. Of course, this does not mean that one should not show respect to the demigods, but there is no need to worship them. One who is honest may be faithful to the government, but he does not need to bribe the government servants. Bribery is illegal. One does not bribe a government servant, but that does not mean that one does not show him respect. Similarly, one who engages in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord, does not need to worship any demigod, nor does he have any tendency to show disrespect to the demigods. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 9.23, it is stated,
यज्ञ
Yep, yeah.
अन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्वितः.
The Lord says that anyone who worships the demigod is also worshipping him, but he is worshipping avidhi purvakam, which means without following the regulative principles. The regulative principle is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Worship of demigods may indirectly be worship of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but it is not regulated. By worshipping the Supreme Lord, one automatically serves all the demigods because they are parts and parcels of the whole. If one supplies water to the roots of a tree, all the parts of the tree, such as the leaves and branches, are automatically satisfied. And if one supplies food to the stomach, all the limbs of the body, the hands, legs, fingers, etc., are nourished. Thus, by worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can satisfy all the demigods. But by worshipping all the demigods, one does not completely worship the Supreme Lord. Therefore, worship of the demigods is irregular and it is disrespectful to the scriptural injunctions. In this age of Kali, it is practically impossible to perform the Deva Yajna or the sacrifice to the demigods. As such, in this age, Srimad Bhagavatam recommends Sankirtan Yajna. Yajna Sankirtana Prayar Yajna Yajantihi Sumedaha. In this age, the intelligent person completes the performance of all kinds of yajnas simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushta. When Lord Vishnu is satisfied, all the demigods who are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord are satisfied. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the fourth canto, second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Daksha curses Lord Shiva.
So what is the essence of this purport which you read? Someone can tell what just now when Jagannath going to read this purport. What is the conclusion of this purport?
If we worship Lord Krishna and follow the spiritual practices which is given by our acharyas, then we don't have to pick any specific endeavors to please the demigods, because by practicing devotional service to Lord Krishna, demigods will be automatically satisfied.
Like Krishna's root and they are like branches. Yes, that is what. Correct, na? So in this verse, Prabhupada very nicely brings out. So now, in the third chapter, Prabhupada will tell something. Oh, Shiva should not have been insulted. Shiva should be given respect. Now Prabhupada is saying, oh, Shiva and Daksha are gone, still nothing is stopped. But in next third chapter, if you see, one purport will come. I'll try to make you read that. Prabhupada speaks something. Initially, when we come to Krishna consciousness, our presentation, our acceptance of Holism means, oh, demigod means like they are not fit for anything. It's not like that. That is what Prabhupada is not telling. Demigods deserve respect. They are Vaishnavas. They have to be respected. But the respect is not as par with Lord Krishna. Right? Surikant Vishnu told. But in third chapter, again, Prabhupada purpose will make it very clear that what was the problem with Daksha was that he disrespected Shiva. And better than worshipping Lord is worship of his devotee. Demigods who are not devotees, we respect them also. Not to speak of demigods who are devotees like Shiva, like our Brahma, who is like pure devotee, who's our Acharya, Sri Kumaras, they're all pure devotees. So we need to worship them as devotees, but we may not worship them as supreme person of God. So that conclusion Prabhupada will bring it from the third chapter. Reason is the title of the third chapter is discussion between Lord Shiva and Sati. What is the discussion? The discussion is about Daksha Prajapati is planning to do Vajpayee Yagya, another sacrifice, and Lord Shiva is not called. And Sati wants to go. And there, Prabhupada is going to give amazing purpose. What is the problem with Daksha? How one should not disrespect Lord Shiva. It's a Vaishnava. One should not see him as a demigod and disrespect him, but we should also see him as a Vaishnava and offer him respects. That is what Daksha did. And because of that, his yajna could not be fulfilled. Okay, so just try to pull out the third chapter. Meanwhile, anybody has any questions, they can ask. Yes, Prabhuji.
That means we should respect to all demigods, but we should surrender unto only Lord Krishna.
Yes. True.
This is the
Yes. Basically, it's like we have one mother and father. We may have many uncle, aunt, everyone, but we don't call everybody as our mother and father. So demigods also have a respect, and some of the many demigods are Vaishnavas also. So they should not be disrespected demigod, but like we offer Vanchakal Tarubhasya. Lord Shiva is Vaishnava and Atha Shambhu. So we may not go to him as a supreme god, but when we see his temple, we can at least go to his temple and offer him as a supreme Vaishnava. So that is seeing things as they are. Initially, before coming to Krishna consciousness, we see everything is one. After coming to Krishna consciousness, only Krishna, nothing else. The more mature way of saying is Krishna is there, but he's surrounded by all his assistants who are non-devotees. At the same time, some of them are devotees also. So now any demigod is not devotee because he is serving Krishna. Therefore, he also be worthy of respect. But somebody is a devotee, he is to Tadhyana, not just assistant of Lord Krishna. That is the thing which I am trying to highlight. This will be clear now. Prabhupada's purport will come. Because I just told you so that what Prabhupada gave no purport last will contrast with Prabhupada's purport in the third chapter. That way we can understand how to deal with demigods. It's not a single flat rule while dealing with them. The next chapter. Talks between Lord Shiva and Sati. This is third chapter. Maitre Vacha, Maitre Vacha, Sada Vidvisatorevam, Kalo Vai Driyamanayo, Jamatu Swasura Isyapi, Sumahan Atichakrame. The enmity between them continued after a considerable long period. That is what Maitreya is going to tell now. Two questions, Vidura asked. Lord Shiva and Daksha, what is the reason for their quarrel? And what happened by that quarrel that Sati died? Two questions he had asked in the second chapter beginning, if you see. 4.2.123. Why Shiva, who is a Charachara Guru, he is Atmaram, he is a Vaishnava, he is a originator of Sampradaya, and Daksha, who is Duritar Vatsala, for him Dakshayani, Sati is so dear. Why they fought? That first question is answered in second chapter. They fought because Lord Shiva did not respect Daksha. That is what Daksha felt. He was thinking Lord Shiva as a son-in-law. And therefore that went on cursing, counter cursing, Daksha cursing Lord Shiva, Nandi cursing Bhrigu, Bhrigu cursing Shiva, followers of Shiva. It ended with that. Now the second question. What was the reason for the death of Dakshayani Sati? That is going to come in this chapter. Second question is going to be answered in this. Okay? Yes. Please continue, Prabhu, reading. I think you have finished second two verses, three verses.
Maitreya continued, in this manner, the tensions between the father-in-law and son-in-law, Daksha and Lord Shiva, continued for considerably long period.
We can read this. Chakravarti says, see, third chapter, Sati desiring to see the sacrifice performed by her father Daksha is forbidden by Shiva, who cites words concerning proper conduct. So they did not beg pardon from each other. Triyamanayo, it continued to exist. Yes, please read the purport.
The previous chapter has already explained that Vidura questioned the sage Maitreya as to the cause of misunderstanding between Lord Shiva and Daksha. Another question is why this strife between Daksha and his son-in-law caused Sati to destroy her body. The chief reason for Sati's giving up her body was that her father Daksha began another sacrificial performance to which Lord Shiva was not invited at all. Generally, when any sacrifice is performed, although each and every sacrifice is intended to specify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, all the demigods, especially Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and the other principal demigods such as Indra and Chandra are invited, and they take part. It is said that unless all the demigods are present, no sacrifice is complete. But in the tension between the father-in-law and son-in-law, Daksha began another yajna performance to which Lord Shiva was not invited. Daksha was the chief progenitor employed by Lord Brahma and he was the son of Brahma. So he had a high position and was also very proud.
Right here, here Prabhupada is writing in the last scene. Daksha was the chief progenitor employed by Lord Brahma. You see, the previous sacrifice, there were a mention of three personalities. So Daksha and two more personalities name were mentioned in the previous second chapter. But this sacrifice which is being performed, Brahma, Shiva, and Daksha were all sitting. Only Shiva did not get up. And Daksha made such a big hue and cry. Brahma saw that Daksha is having this nature. He's so proud of his accomplishment. But what to do? Daksha is control of the whole administration. He has all the what do you need all resources. Daksha is having it. Many times it happens now when you want to build a temple and not many people are there who are qualified or who can raise the funds. But there's one person who can give a lot of funds, but he's not such so much. He's dealing with the Vaishnavas are not so good. He's very lauding, he's very bossing, he needs credit. What happens? Sometimes a devotee or a spiritual master may engage him. So let us purify him. Anyway, he has this lauding or mentality. If we don't engage it here, we'll engage this somewhere spiritual materially and try to degrade. Rather than that, let us engage him spiritually so that at least by this he'll get purified. Same thing, Brahma. Although he knew that is this lauding more mentality, but he had resources, he had the talent, he had expertise. So he made him a chief progenitor, chief priest, or a chief sponsor, chief donor for this sacrifice, so that by that sacrifice his heart can be purified. But problem was his intentions were not right. So um, actions flow where your intent is, energy flows where intent is. So it's all the energy, you all the resources, but problem is intent is not very pure. Because of that, uh, he is going to invite trouble very soon. He's going to become puffed up. Already puffed up, he's given a post. What is going to happen? It's like monkey trying to give him wine, and he has a knife in his hand. He's going to cut his own head. Yada Vishikto Dakshastu Brahmana Parameshtina Prajapatinam Sarvesham Adipatyas Mayo Bhavat. So see, you can see carefully here. Many times when we come to Krishna consciousness, materially we will be very talented. Materially, we might have worked in big companies, or we might have got very nice scholar. No, so we were really big scholars in academic circles. And then we come to Bhakti. If you don't give that up, and we expect the same thing after coming to Bhakti, that becomes a hurdle. What happens? Daksha, proud, puffed up, expecting Lord Shiva to get up. Now what is happening? Brahma has the intention to purify him. But Daksha, no, not at all. प्रजापति नाम सर्वेशम उसको सब प्रजापति के सर्वेशम बना दिया ईश्वर बना दिया. And Lord Brahma appointed Daksha the chief of all the Prajapatis. प्रजापति नाम सर्वेशम आधिपत्य स्मयं भवोत. So that is what this sloka is speaking. Yes, please read Lord Brahma.
When Lord Brahma appointed Daksha the chief of all the Prajapatis, the progenitor of population, Daksha became very much puffed up.
Why? Because of his,
Although
because of his, he was thinking he is the doer. He was not thinking that I'm an instrument. He was thinking, I am the doer. I am so great. If I don't do this, nothing will happen. Nothing, this will not happen. Therefore, Brahma, even I did all those things to Shiva, but still Brahma is still on my side. That means I am right. This is thought process. Please read it.
although he was envious and was inimical towards Lord Shiva, Daksha was appointed the chief of all Prajapatis. That was the cause of his excessive pride. When a man becomes too proud of his material positions, he can perform any dexterous act, and therefore Daksha acted out of false prestige. that is described in this chapter.
Yeah, therefore, we have to be very careful. Like most of you, spend a lot of time in Krishna consciousness, might be doing many services, or in general, somebody who's in leadership position, when he sees that somebody in the team or somebody is a subordinate who's big power materially, but attitude is not power. Attitude is not proper. We have to be very careful because materially he can do anything. It can become sinful, but spiritually, if he comes and blasphemes Vaishnavas and disrespects them, that is going to be very greatly. So here now you can see Daksha, what Prabhupada is writing here. See Prabhupada, what he's catching the pulse. See, nothing is much described here. Till now, I'm just building up. Therefore, you are able. I'm just picking up because I've read these purports. I've read commentaries of Vishnu Chakra Thakur. Therefore, I'm adding up. You see, this is only second shloka. Nothing is just mentioned here. It's just mentioned here. Okay, he was made previous chapter. What is the reason? And he became. And just it's a second shloka. But you can understand what Prabhupada is just in crisp one line of the purport. Although he was envious and was inimical to Lord Shiva, where previous chapter we saw. Daksha was appointed the chief of all Prajapatis. He was disqualified. But so that he will do sacrifice and will purify. But what happened? It became poison for him. That was the cause of his excessive pride. Already has blasphemed Lord Shiva, and over and above that, rather than trying to punish him or trying to make him understand, Baba, it is not right, trying to train him and bring him to consciousness, he's given much more power. And when a man becomes too proud of these material positions, he can perform any disastrous act. And therefore, Daksha acted out of false prestige that is described in this chapter. So we have to be careful before empowering anybody that we should not see how much money he has, what materially how much strong he is, but we should see what is his character. Well, that's in first canto, section of 16, 17, 18, 19, where Parikshit Maharaj is attacking Kali. So the leader should not be tested for his material accomplishments, even if he is not illiterate, even if he is illiterate, but he should be tested for character. He should be able to follow his principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no induction, no gambling, and should be in the mood of servant of the servant of the servant of the Vaishnavas. Then he can be empowered. But that was not the case because he was materially very powerful. He has material possession, so it would be very easy for him to perform sacrifice because it's a sacrifice for the whole universe and the whole treasury in his hand. If he is not made, then how the treasure will come out? So keeping all this in mind, Brahma empowered him, but then it was working out in a. It's not Brahma's fault; it's Daksha's fault. Although his superior gave him another chance for him to improve, but he could not. He became even more. It at an ego level. Ishtvasa vajapenya parmishtana vibhuyaya brahaspatim savam nama samarebhya tatuttamam. Yes, somebody else can read. I think 5 shlokas of Jagan Puzur.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Daksha begins a sacrifice named Vajapaya, and he became excessively confident of his support by Lord Brahma. He then performed another great sacrifice named Brahaspati Sava.
Yes.
Purport. In the Vedas, it is prescribed that before performing a Brahaspati Sava sacrifice, one should perform the sacrifice named Vajapaya. While performing this sacrifice, however, Daksha neglected great devotee like Lord Shiva. According to Vedic scriptures, and demigods are eligible to participate in yajnas and share the oblations. But Daksha wanted to avoid them. All sacrifices are instead intended to pacify Lord Vishnu. But Lord Vishnu includes all his devotees. Brahma, Lord Shiva, and the other demigods are all obedient servants of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is never satisfied without them. But Daksha, being puffed up with his power, wanted to deprive Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva of participation in the sacrifice, understanding that if one satisfies Vishnu, it is not necessary to satisfy his followers. But that is not a process. Vishnu wants his followers to be satisfied first. Lord Krishna says, Mad Bhakta
Puja
Prabhu,
Vidik.
Puja Vidik. The worship of my devotees is better than worship of me. Similarly, in the Padma Purana, it is stated that the best mode of worship is to offer obeisances to Vishnu, but better than that to worship the devotees of Krishna. Thus, Daksha's determination to neglect Lord Shiva in the sacrifice was not fitting.
Yeah, so I was referring to this shloka itself. So same, what Prabhupada is telling here in the last shloka, Prabhupada told, okay, Shiva went, Lord Shiva went, Daksha, Brahma went, but still the Brahmanas, they performed a sacrifice and they went and took Avabratasna. But what Prabhupada is telling here again? Oh, Vishnu will not accept it till the time demigods accept it, because demigods are his pure devotees. Daksha neglected Shiva, and therefore Vishnu is not going to accept it, or till the time Shiva is pleased, the sacrifice will not be complete. You all, this is what I was quoting. You saw how Prabhupada is writing? Just 4 mantras before, Prabhupada is writing a purport. One should not see Vishnu is independent. It doesn't depend on any demigod. That is, we should not bring demigods on the equal level of Lord Vishnu. That does not mean that we should not respect them. We should disrespect them. Demigods are not equal to Vishnu doesn't mean that we should disrespect them. It means that we should give them due respect. As if they're Vaishnavas, they're Vaishnavas. If they are not Vaishnavas, they are assisting, they're empowered beings assisting Lord Vishnu in this maintenance. What Daksha did? Daksha neglected great devotees like Lord Shiva. And therefore, without that, Tatiya is not accepted. Mat Puja Vyadika. So he neglected Vaishnavas. That is because of that reason. Oblations to Lord Vishnu will not be complete now. And now Daksha will have to will behead his head. Before that, Sati will die, and then Veerabhadra will come and cut his head. So this is a very important purport, third purport. Just you can what after this whole discussion, more Bhakti Vaibhava study doesn't mean just reading and okay, fine, syllabus is over, and we are in our own world and it gets over. Anyway, we have so much of services, we have to take care of families. But also see, just 3 mantras before, Vishnu supremacy, independence will be told, Swarat. And now, Vishnu's dependence on his devotees is told. Shiva and Brahma, Vishnu are dependent. And now, Vishnu doesn't accept without Shiva and Brahma. That is also being told. What is the context? Context is Vishnu's supremacy is mentioned there. Here, Vishnu's dependence on his devotees. This is Vaishnava Parat. So one should not offend Vaishnavas like Lord Shiva unnecessarily. So here is saying that thus Daksha's determination to neglect Lord Shiva in the sacrifice is not fitting. Therefore, whenever we come across these personalities like Lord Shiva, and that for that matter, anybody who is a Devata, and especially they are devotees, we should offer them respect as Vaishnavas. Even if they are not devotees, we should offer them respect as assistants of Krishna, trying to help him in his function. That is what we should not disrespect them. So ISKCON mission is not meant for disrespecting demigods. Most of the times, when new people come to Krishna consciousness, when the preacher doesn't have this maturity, we tell, "Aare isko nikal do, sabhi devata ko nikal do." So, like most of you are in guiding roles, so all of you might be knowing. We just tell, keep Krishna in the top position, and for timing, you keep others in the they are as assistants. And slowly, based on the relationship, then we can give them the information and give them the guidance and let them decide what has to be done. You can't force them. But when we fanatically start preaching, no, nothing doing. See what Prabhupada is writing in 3:4, 33, 34 verse. No Brahma, no Shiva, only Vishnu. But come to 4:3 verse. Vishnu doesn't accept without the sanction of his devotees. is pleased. Therefore, we should not become one-sided. We should become sensible and mature while presenting, and that will encourage people not to go away from ISKCON. They will wait and they will see, and right now they may not accept, but in time to come, when you put the ball in their court, they'll accept it with maturity, and they'll never again go back to it. So it's not disrespect, and let's not disrespect Lord Vishnu by telling demigods are equal. At the same time, let's not disrespect demigods by telling them nothing to do with them. We have to respect them as Vaishnavas, and we should respect Lord Vishnu as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is what we learn from this discussion last 4-5 verses. Tasmin brahmarше sarve devarshi pitra devata asankrita swastyayanas tatpatnyascha sabhritrakaka. So now Swastyayanas, or she's seeing, Sati is seeing all her relatives, her sisters with their husbands, decorated nicely with the jewels which were gifted to her by their parents. They are all flying above her house. That means they're staying not on the earth planet, they're staying in some other upper higher planet system. And she's comparing, oh, my father also has given me jewels, ornaments, so I also want to wear it. And if you like, I also want to go and visit this sacrifice. She's going to ask to Lord Shiva. Yes, next.
Yes, Guruji. While the sacrifice was being performed, many Brahmarshis, great sages, ancestral demigods, and other demigods, their wives, all very nicely decorated with ornaments, attended from different parts of the universe. Purport. In any auspicious ceremony, such as a marriage ceremony, sacrificial ceremony, or puja ceremony, it is auspicious for married women to decorate themselves very nicely with ornaments, fine clothing, and cosmetics. These are the auspicious signs. Many heavenly women assembled with their husbands, the devarsis, demigods, and rajarsis, in the great sacrifice named Brahaspati Seva. It is specially mentioned in this verse that they are approached with their husbands, and when a woman is decorated nicely, her husband becomes more cheerful. The nice decorations, ornaments, and dress of the wives of demigods, and the sages, and the cheerfulness of the demigods and sages themselves were all auspicious signs for the ceremony.
Their decoration is making their husband cheerful, says cheerful, and women are cheerful, men are cheerful, and not women, demigods, demigoddess, and sages, they are very cheerful. That means it's a very auspicious time and it's going to be very nice. Yajna. Tad upashrutya nabhasi. Tad upashrutya, thus hearing. Tad upashrutya matlab, thus hearing nabhasi in the sky. Ke charanam prajalpatam. Their aircraft. They are traveling in the K matlab aircraft which travels in sky. Charanam. They are traveling. Prajalpatam, they are talking among themselves. Prajalpa. Sati Dakshayani Devi. Sati, who is daughter of Daksha. Her name is Dakshayani. Pitrayajna Mahotsavam. When she heard these sages and these demigoddesses traveling in the sky, discussing in the airplane about the paternal sacrifice of Daksha Prajapati, whose daughter is Dakshayani. She is connecting, getting very affectionate. I should also go. Prajanti Sarvato Digbaya. Everybody is going from all directions. Upadeva Varashtriya and demigods, lower demigods, along with their wives, Vimana Yana Saprishta, and they're going in the aircrafts. Yana, Vimana Yana Saprishta, with their beloveds. Nishkakanti Suvasasaha, and they're wearing beautiful locket in their throat. Suvasasaha, Nishkakanti, Drushtva Nilayavase. And it's very beautiful, this sight. Lolakshir Mrashtakundalaha. and they're wearing kundala in their ears, and they're decorating their eyes. Patim bhuta patim devam Otsukyat abaya bhasatha. Seeing all these things, decoration of eyes and earrings and lockets on the necks, and having the discussion what is father going to do. Sati approached her husband to inquire, if at all you wish, then we can also think of going to that place. Yes. Please read Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. The chaste lady Sati, the daughter of Daksha, heard the heavenly denizens flying in the sky, covering about the great sacrifice, conversing about the great sacrifice, being performed by her father. When she saw that from all directions, the beautiful wives of heavenly denizens, their eyes are very beautifully glittering, were near her residence and were going to the sacrifice, dressed in fine clothing and ornamented with earrings and necklaces with lockets. She approached her husband, the matter of bhutas, in the great anxiety and spoken as follows.
So what is approaching for? Oh, all of them are going. So if you are like, let us also go perpetrate Purple Mother.
Okay. It appears that the residence of Lord Shiva was not on this planet, but somewhere in the outer space. Otherwise, how could Sati have been seen the aeroplanes coming from the different directions towards this planet and heard the passengers talking about the great sacrifice being performed by Daksha? Sati is described here as Dakshayani because she was the daughter of Daksha. The mention of Vajapaya, Upadeva Vara refers to inferior demigods like the Gandharvas, Kinnaras, and the Arjas, who
Uragas.
are not Urgas, who are not exactly demigods, but between the demigods and the human beings. They were also coming in planes. The word
Swanilaya Bhasya.
Swanilaya indicates that they were passing right near her residential quarters. The dress and bodily features of the wives of heavenly denizens are very nicely described here. Their eyes moved, their earrings and other ornaments glitter and glare. Their dresses were the nicest possible, and all of them had special lockets on their necklaces. Each woman was accompanied by her husband. Thus, they looked so beautiful that Sati Dakshayani was impelled to dress similarly and go to the sacrifice with her husband. That is the natural inclination of a woman.
Generally, we might have seen this pastime so many times in serial, here, there. There, what is told? Okay, she saw everyone and she also wants to go. But what is the inside feelings, emotions, Bhagavatam, and especially Prabhupada and Acharyas, how they present it? It's there in the verse, but they just present it in their purport so nicely. Therefore, Bhagavata Padiya Bhagavata Sthana. Only from a devotee we can understand Bhagavatam. Otherwise, this story, so many cinemas, so many singers have been made on this section. 20 years back, 30 years back, and now it's 10, 15 years back also, 10 years back also. Sati vacha prajapateste swasurasya sampratam nirayapito yajna mahotsava kila vayam cha tatra visharamamamate yadarpitam vibuddha vajantihi. Daksha Prajapati, her father-in-law, is doing such a big sacrifice. Yajna Mahotsava Kila, Vayam cha tatra visharam mamte, yada arhitami Buddha vajantihi. If at all you desire, we can also go there. Yes, Madhu, please read.
Hare Krishna. Sati said, "My dear Lord Shiva, your father-in-law is now executing a great sacrifice, and all the demigods, having been invited by him, are going there. If you desire, we may also go."
If you desire,
What?
we may also go. Why Lord Shiva desire? This is Sati's thought process. She wants to go. She's not telling I want to go, but she is telling indirectly. She wants to take a permission, and she's telling if you desire, we may go. But she's not. She's going to go without Shiva's desire now. You can see it. Yes, please read the purport.
Hare Krishna. Sati knew of the tension between her father and her husband, but still she expressed to her husband, Lord Shiva, that since such sacrifices were going on at her father's house and so many demigods were going, she also desired to go, but she could not express her willingness directly. And so she told her husband that if he desired to go, then she should also accompany him. In other words, she submitted her design very politely to her husband.
This kind of sacrifice are not happening always. This was very, very rare. Vajpayee and this kind of sacrifice. That was also one of the reasons. But still, can you imagine that intensity of the sacrifice was such a big thing that Sati also knowing the tension between her husband and father-in-law. Still, she asking this. She's so fascinated by attending this sacrifice. What is that fascination? Tasmin bhaginyo mama bhartribi svaper tuvam gamishyanti surat dridrikshvaha aham ch tasmin bhavata vikamye swahopanitam paribharham arhitum. Oh, welcome. Tasmin bhaginyo sisters, mama bhartribi, my mother sisters, dhruvam gamishyanti surat dridrikshvaha, all my paternal, basically maternal relatives. Am च तस्मिन् भवतापि कामये सोहोपनितं परिभ्रम अर्हितुम. And when you participate there, my father has given so many ornaments. Aham ch tasmin bhavatapi kamyaye. Chakravarti says that okay, when we go to the yajna, we'll also get so much of. Generally, when people go for yajna, people give them donations, give them cloth, give them some wealth. So that is what Chakravarti says, that she is also feeling we'll also going to accept gifts. Prabhupada says no. My father has given so many of ornaments to me and clothes to me and dresses to me. I want to wear and go and meet all of my relatives and friends, especially maternal side. That is the reason we want to go. And you also come with me. Yes, Madhu, please read.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I think that all my sisters must have gone to this great sacrificial ceremony with their husbands just to see their relatives. I also desire to decorate myself with the ornaments given to me by my father and go there with you to participate in that assembly.
What is the purpose of you going or I going? Just as they are worshipped with their husbands, let me be worshipped with my husband. This is my desire. And we let us accept gifts such as cloth ornaments given by my parents. What Prabhupada writes. Yes, please read.
Yes. It is a woman's nature to want to decorate herself with ornaments and nice dresses and accompanied her husband to social functions, meet friends and relatives, and enjoy life in that way. This propensity is not unusual for women. It is the basic principle of material enjoyment. Therefore, in Sanskrit, the word for woman is Stri, which means one who expands the field of material enjoyments. In the material world, there is an attraction between woman and man. This is the arrangement of conditional life. A woman attracts a man, and in that way, the scope of material activities involving house, wealth, children, and friendship increases, and thus, instead of decreasing one's material demands, one becomes entangled in material enjoyment. Lord Shiva, however, is different. Therefore, his name is Shiva. He is not at all attracted by material enjoyment. Although his wife Sati was the daughter of a very great leader and was given to him by the request of Brahma. Lord Shiva was reluctant, but Sati, as a woman, the daughter of king, wanted enjoyment. She wanted to go to her father's house, just as her other sisters might have done, and meet them and enjoy social life. Here, she specifically indicated that she would decorate herself with the ornaments given by her father. She did not say that she would decorate herself with the ornaments given by her husband, because her husband was callous about all such matters. He did not know how to decorate his wife and take part in social life, because he was always in the ecstasy with thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Vedic system, a daughter is given a sufficient dowry at the time of her marriage, and therefore Sati was also given a dowry by her father, and ornaments were included. It is also the custom that the husband gives some ornaments, but here it is particularly mentioned that her husband, being materially almost nothing, could not do so. Therefore, she wanted to decorate herself with the ornaments given by her father. It was fortunate for Sati that Lord Shiva did not take the ornaments from his wife and spend them for ganja, because those who imitate Lord Shiva in smoking ganja exploit
Everything from household affairs.
ex, exploit ganja, because those who imitate that Lord Shiva in smoking ganja exploit everything from household affairs. They take all of their wives' property and spend on smoking, intoxication, and similar other activities.
Yeah, basically the followers of Lord Shiva do that. But Shiva is at least not doing at least that Sati is jewels are as it is because Lord Shiva is a devotee. Amazing, Prabhupada is very humorous. Tatra swastarminanu bhatra samhita matra Tatra swastarminanu bhatra samhita matra swashaki nadiyamancha mataram Rakshe chirotkantamanam shivir Uniyamanam Mradadvaradvajam. Yes.
Yes. My sisters, my mother's sisters, and their husbands, and other affectionate relatives must be assembled there. So, if I go, I shall be able to see them, and I shall be able to see the flapping flags and their performance of the sacrifice by the great sages. For these reasons, my dear husband, I am very much anxious to go. Purport. As stated before, the tension between the father-in-law and son-in-law persisted for the considerable time. Sati, therefore, had not gone to her father's house for a long while. Thus, she was very anxious to go to her father's house, particularly because on that occasion, her sisters and their husbands and her mother's sisters would be there. As a natural force for woman, she wanted to dress equally to her other sisters and also be accompanied by her husband. She did not, of course, want to go alone. Hare Krishna.
Vaitad ascharyajatam maya vinirmittam bhati gunatrayatmakam tatapiham yoshita tattva vichati deenadidrikshya bhavame bhavakshitim. Somebody else can read. You want to read, Mataji? This is the last shloka we'll do and we'll end now. Yes.
Okay, no problem, Prabhuji. Okay, no problem. This manifested cosmos is a wonderful creation of the interaction of the three material modes or external energy of the Supreme Lord. This truth is fully known to you. Yet I am but a poor woman, and as you know, I am not conversant with the truth. Therefore, I wish to see my birthplace once more.
He knows that it's three modes of nature. This truth is fully known to you, but I am poor. I'm attached. So I have to go. Prabhupada writes, Daksha and Sati knew very well that her husband, Lord Shiva, was not very much interested in the glaring manifestation of the material world, which is caused by the interaction of three modes. Therefore, she addressed Her husband is Aja, which refers to one who has transcended the bondage of birth and death, or one who has realized the eternal position as servant of Lord Krishna. She stated the illusion of accepting the perverted reflection, the material or cosmic manifestation to be real, is not present in you because you are self-realized. For you, the attraction of social life and consideration that someone is father, mother, son, sister, religious relationship is already over. But I am a poor woman. I'm so advanced in. I'm not so advanced in transcendental sakshatkara. Naturally, these appear to me as real. So that is what the Sati is telling. You can read from here, those who are under.
Those who are under the spell of external energy accept this manifestation to be a fact, whereas those who are advanced in spiritual realization know that it is illusion. Actually, reality is elsewhere in the spiritual world. But as far as I am concerned, Sati said, I do not have much knowledge about self realization. I am poor because I do not know the actual facts. I am attracted by my birthplace and I want to see it. One who has attraction for his birthplace, for his body, and for other such atoms mentioned in Bhagavatam is considered to be like as ass or a cow. Sati might Sati might have heard all this many times from her husband, Lord Shiva, but because she was a woman, Yoshita, she still hankered after the same material objects of affection. The word Yoshita means one who is enjoyed. Therefore, woman is called Yoshit. In spiritual advancement, association with Yoshit is always restricted because if one is like a play doll in the hands of Yoshita, then all his spiritual advancement is at once stopped. It is said those who are just like playthings in the hands of a woman, Yoshita Krida Mrigeshu, cannot make any advancement in spiritual realization.
So what?
Hare
How to
Krishna.
see this purport again? Like I spoke about the demigod worship, and one place Prabhupada speaks in the last purport of the last chapter, demigod worship. No, Lord Vishnu is not dependent on anyone. And then he speaks in the third verse of this chapter. No, Lord Vishnu doesn't accept without Lord Shiva accepting. Similarly, Prabhupada purports have to be seen from text and context. Somebody may take out this thing as woman is Yoshita and then try telling it. So, but you should understand, this is for those women who are not self-realized. This is not for those who are devotees. Okay? So whenever in Shastra such things come as woman, unenlightened, Yoshita and other things, this is based on realization. If somebody is realized, that is not the case. And it may be even relevant to those people, men who are not realized. They can also become played. They can become also played out in the hand of men. So basically, it is referring to self-realized and not being self-realized. Hare Krishna. Any questions? We'll end here. We have 2-3 minutes. Last 1 minute for question answers. So we finished 11 verses from third chapter. I have to complete 4 chapters, and then some next section will be taken by some other teacher. But meanwhile, please try to study the shlokas. We have to finish shlokas of third chapter, third canto, 3 cantos. We have to complete 2 presentations, rose book and open book. For timing, the new unit handbook is being made. So therefore, there will delay from BVRV side. But as soon as it comes, we will have the closed book exams. But till that time, at least pending closed book exams and pending open book exams, please try to cover it. And also shloka test and also presentations. Now, what presentations you want to take? I'll send a list of shlokas. You can choose a shlokas. I think your list of shlokas now for memorization. So from first 3 cantos, you can take any 2 shlokas. From first and second canto 1 shloka, from third canto 1 shloka, and you can try to prepare a presentation on it. Okay? And how to do all the presentation, how it to be evaluated, what are the marking system. Once I finish these 4 chapters, I'll try to explain you to the marking system and evaluation system of these presentations. Okay?
Prabhu, please send the handbook of other units, na Prabhu. Till 14 we completed.
Yeah.
So it will take time us to be also read and write, na all these things.
Yes, true. I understand. That is the reason I told you. This is from BBRB side. They are not able to compile the handbook. So till the time handbook comes, we will not have closed book. And even if handbook comes, it will give 1 month time for preparation. We will not have immediately, because it is a issue from our side. We will give sufficient time. Therefore, for timing, you can focus on slokas. You can learn slokas.
Okay.
You can learn whatever pending closed book and open book are there. Try to complete it, so that by the time handbook comes, we'll celebrate it all. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. And please do join on time tomorrow also with videos on. And, from 4th and onwards, we are going to make it not strict, what it is supposed to be. It is, we'll otherwise make it offline. Board house is gone, everything is gone. We'll make it offline. All of you can physically come and sit in the class, and that becomes very nice. Right? Or you can choose. You want to keep videos on and attend online, or you want to keep videos off and attend offline. Now, our ball is in your court. I'll just send whatever report is there, everything from all the teachers. When our teachers teach, they just send me all the reports. I just compiled it. I'll just send it to the dean. To them to connect it to. And then they will come up with the new policy and other things. So I'm not yet sent it. So I'm just okay. I'm just spring now. The spring I keep on pressing. And some point of time, if I will stop, then again, whatever norms are there, it will become much more stricter. Therefore, let's stick to our norms. Joining on time. Any concerns are there? Inform it 1 day before on mail, not on subgroup chat. Otherwise, what will happen is just we'll tell them, okay, if somebody is not able to follow the norms, then better is I have sent. Not all I. So many teachers. I'm just teaching. After 4-5 minutes, I come once as a teacher for a teaching. 5 chapters I teach. 5 minutes I come there. For remaining 4-5 teachers are there who also, after the teaching, they send their reports in the mail. So based on that, this batch will go. So all of you are all sincere, but I think there are some norms which we can try to follow, by which we can complete things on time, and also we can take it as an opportunity to study, absorb ourselves in Bhagavatam. So mostly I don't go much in Acharyas and other things. I just stick to Prabhupada purport, because in Prabhupada purport itself there are so many vital things. We just saw 2 things today. At one place Prabhupada is saying about demigod worship, and second place again is glorifying. So the mood, the text and context, that will help us a lot in trying to outreach people, trying to guide people. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you.